welcome back to another video. So today's video is going to be showing you guys my entire palette collection. Aside from come shopping with me, because I know you guys love to watch those kind of videos, this is going to be me showing you guys my entire palette collection. So this is of course palettes that I have accumulated over time, nothing that I bought at once. I have also mentioned to you guys before that I mostly buy most of my makeup from TJ Maxx and from Marshalls. So if you are someone that is planning on growing your makeup collection, definitely check out Marshalls and TJ Maxx. A lot of my makeup, maybe like 50% of my makeup, is actually from TJ Maxx and Marshalls. And they do sell a whole bunch of branded makeup as well, so that's really cool and awesome that you're able to buy those makeup there. Some of these palettes are oldie palettes, some of these palettes are newer palettes, so there's a mixture of both. And there's also palettes that are very affordable and palettes are very high-end. And so anyways, let's go on and get started with the video. I don't want to talk so much because in this video is going to be entirely way too long, and if I have to do maybe a part 2, I will. So anyways, let's go on and get started with the video. Like always, do not forget to subscribe if you are new to this channel. Do not forget to give this video a huge thumbs up. And anyways, let's go on and get started with the video. So this is pretty much my makeup room or my beauty room, whatever you guys want to call it. Pretty much where I keep most of my makeup. And I have over here my lipsticks or my lipstick drawer where I keep most of my lipsticks. And this is an acrylic organizer from First Impressions, and I love this acrylic organizer so much, you guys, because it comes with different like separate organizer where you can put like your mini lipstick. So I have everything from Smashbox, you know, Too Faced and all that, Lorac, and Anastasia. Just wanted to show you guys this section really quickly because this is my favorite section out of my vanity. And next to it, you guys, is the Jaclyn Hill lipsticks, which thing that we're not going to get into, but I still have it here because I do not know whether I will continue to use it because there's just so much drama surrounding this lipstick. But I do want to say, like, when I got my lipsticks, I ended up getting them pretty awesome condition, except for maybe like the scratchiness that a lot of you guys were saying the lipsticks had. I didn't find any lint or any hair in my lipsticks. I don't know. But anyways, we're gonna move on to this section. So this is a cubicle that I bought at IKEA a while ago. This is pretty much my background when I do makeup tutorials, and here is where I have most of my palettes. So I pretty much try to display my palettes here in these little cubicles because I'm the type of person that if I put my palettes away in a drawer, I will forget about them and I will not end up using it, which has happened to me plenty of times. So these are the palettes where I usually keep that I reach out for more, and palettes that I want to continue using. And then the palettes that are like just palettes that I don't really use as much or that I have no room to put on display, I will put them here. And then right below here is mostly where I keep inexpensive palettes. So anyways, we're gonna start off with this section first. So over here in this section is pretty much where I display most of my palettes that are huge palettes. So one of the first ones here is the Jaclyn Hill palette by Morphe. This palette is actually a really great palette to start off. The only thing I have to say about this palette is that it does not have a mirror, which sucks because it will look so nice with a huge mirror, perfect for like even doing your entire face. So it is a white palette. You're gonna get it very dirty. The newest one actually has that nice finish that is soft and it's not gonna get dirty, but this one unfortunately is more like a matte finish, so this has gotten really dirty. Now this is the Morphe 3502 palette. I had this a while, and unfortunately my little cousin went through my palette and just scraped most of them off with a pen or whatever she had, so it looks pretty jacked up, you guys, but I still kept it. But I really loved this palette at one point. I really did. I love the colors in this palette. Really pretty, very like fiery fall colors. So that is the Morphe 3502. And then over here is the Carly Bible BH Cosmetics Deluxe Edition 21 color eyeshadow and highlighting palette. Yeah, so you get 2 highlights here and a couple other highlighters here as well, the eyeshadows, and these are the highlights. I think the highlights are really nice for like light to medium skin tones. Really pretty. If you're like into basic colors, this is definitely going to be your palette. And I love that it even has a mirror too, which is perfect if you are on the go. And the other palette that I have from Carly Bible is is this one. This one is the BH Cosmetics Carly Babel 10 color eyeshadow and 4 color highlighting palette, which this actually is the first palette that she came out with. I love this palette. I love the shimmer. So if you are into shimmery shadows, you're definitely gonna love this. You're definitely gonna love the mauve colors. It's really pretty to put it like in the corner of your eye. And I love that it even has a mirror as well. So last but not least in this section, I have the Too Faced Best Year Ever palette from 2018. This actually came with a planner and also I believe a mascara and some stickers. And this is obviously from last year, and I really love the palette because it has definitely like your fall spring type of colors, and you also get like a highlight, a blush, and a bronzer. And this bronzer, you guys, is a bronzer that I have on its own. It's called the Chocolate Soleil bronzer, which I really love. So yeah, this is the Too Faced Best Year Ever. And then we're gonna go into this section over here. This is where I keep two of my Tarte palettes. So I have the Tarte in Bloom palette. This is a very neutral palette, more like a wedding type of vibe type of palette. This is the Toasted palette by Tarte. This one's a lot more shimmery, more matte, more warm than the Tarte in Bloom palette. This is the Too Faced Just Peachy Matte, which I totally recommend. I love this palette. If you are into berry, light pink, berry tone, brown colors, this is definitely it. Mostly all matte and nothing of this is shimmer. The other one is a Too Faced White Peach palette, which I honestly just got this at TJ Maxx, and to be quite honest, I don't think I will ever use this palette again. So I am going to put this on the side because I don't know, I'm just not a fan of these colors, and I don't think I will reach for these colors ever again. Here's my Fenty Beauty palette. This palette, you guys, I first got when Fenty Beauty came out with her entire collection, and this was one of the palettes that I fell in love with. These shimmery shadows are so pretty. You definitely need a glitter glue to keep these shimmery shadows in place. I love the whole chromatic, like futuristic type of vibe that it gives me. The only thing I don't like about this is it gets very, very dirty and you can see your fingerprints all over it, but I do like the shimmery shadows. So over here is the Dream palette by Sigma Beauty and collabs with Beauty Bird. If you know who Beauty Bird is, she is a makeup YouTuber. She is amazing. She's Latina. I actually got this palette myself. I bought it myself, and honestly, like, I love this palette so much because you get every single color that you need. Like, I feel like this is all like rainbow colors, and if you want to put like these colors on your cut crease, you can. You have some beautiful like caramel, beigey, and you also get these highlighting colors too. And this actually came with a brush, but unfortunately this brush actually broke on me, which is quite unfortunate because I have actually Sigma Beauty brushes and they've never done that with me. I don't know, maybe I must have like dropped it really bad. Other than that, I love the palette itself. I love the colors. I love the shimmers. I like the way they blend. They don't swatch as well as they apply, just so you guys know about this palette. So make sure that you do try them out first before swatching them, because swatching them does not do it justice for this palette. And this one over here is a Too Faced palette, which I haven't used yet. I found this recently at TJ Maxx, and you can see this palette is so huge, you guys. It's almost as big as my cubicle, but oh my god, this palette is so pretty. I love like the whole glittery vibe. I love glitter, you guys. So these colors just literally call my name. Like, I want to like swatch a few of them for you guys. Yeah, so that is one of them. Yep. So those are the shimmery shadows from this Too Faced palette, which is called the Then and Now palette. You guys let me know in the comment section if you do want me to do a tutorial using this palette, because I would totally do it. I don't want this video to be way too long, so I'm just going to show you guys the palettes entirely, and if I want to dig into a palette that I recommend, I will let you guys know. So this is here the Too Faced, the chocolate bar palette. This one is a semi-sweet chocolate bar palette, which looks like a chocolate bar. It's so pretty. The colors are really nice, very neutral. This other one is a chocolate bonbons palette, which you can also find at TJ Maxx. I've seen this a couple times. It has like more like heart eyeshadows. Not a palette that I typically lean towards, but it's a really nice palette. The palette that I totally recommend you guys get is a Too Faced chocolate bar palette. This is a really good palette. This is my second palette from the chocolate bar palette that I have. The other one I completely used up and I threw that one away, but this one's another one. This is a newer one. They smell like chocolate, you guys. So if you like the smell of chocolate, you're definitely gonna like the chocolate bar palette by Too Faced. So I totally recommend this palette for sure. And then next here is all of my Urban Decay palettes. These are all the naked palettes. So here is my first naked palette by Urban Decay. Who remembers this palette, you guys? This is actually my second naked palette from Urban Decay. The other one, same thing. I went through them like a lot, and this is my second one. But these colors are so gorgeous and so pretty. Oh my god, they're so neutral. And I remember using this palette when I was doing like makeup tutorials. Love this palette. And the only thing I don't like about this palette is that it has that velvety feel, which gets like some fuzzies all over it, and it can get really dirty. Next one here is the Naked Urban Decay 2 palette, which the only thing I don't like about this palette, you guys, is that some of these eyeshadows have come loose, so you have to be very careful with this palette. Here is the Naked 3 by Urban Decay. This one also the same issue that I had with the other palette. The eyeshadows fell off the palette itself, and I lost them through time. That is the only unfortunate part about this palette. And then the other one here had the Naked Smoky by Urban Decay. This one's a little bit more like night out type of palette if you want to create more of a smokier look. You have a lot more of the shimmery shadows and more mattes, but it is a really nice palette to start off with if you're looking to create more smoky looks. So like that one. And then last but not least, from Urban Decay, I have the Urban Decay Heat palette, which came out. I remember this was very popular a while ago, and I really love these shadows. They're very warm. The only thing is that, again, like, they are very much scratched off because my little cousin went through this palette when she was going through my 3502 palette by Morphe, and this is one of the palettes that she also scratched off. I don't know, maybe she was like leaning towards these warmer colors, that she just pretty much destroyed this palette. I mean, but I still have it just because I do like the colors. And moving on in this section over here is where I have most of my Anastasia palettes that I love, and I am a huge fan of Anastasia palettes. They're so pretty. Again, with the velvety feel of these palettes, that's the only thing I do not like about these palettes, is the velvety feel. It feels like I am getting it dirty all the time. And first and foremost, I want to start off with my favorite palette, which is a Modern Renaissance palette by Anastasia. This palette, you guys, is a must. Like, you have to have this palette, and the reason why I say it's a must is because the colors are so pretty. Like, you get a variation of brown, berry, warm, champagne, neutral colors. These actually you can use as a highlight as well if you really don't have any other highlighting colors to use, so you can definitely use this as a highlight. I tend to reach more for the burnt orange color, which is really pretty for like an all over lid on its own. It's perfect. So I really love this palette to take with me when I do travel. I like this palette a lot, so I totally recommend for beginners to use this palette. And then I also have the Soft Glam palette, which is a really nice palette as well. These are more like warmer colors. The Modern Renaissance has more neutral warm colors. This one is just warm color. I don't know if it's just me with this palette, you guys, but this palette has a lot of fallout. Like, the more I use it, the more fallout that it has. You can see how dirty it is. Yeah, so that's the only problem that I do have with this palette itself. I know that the Subculture palette had another issue like that as well, and a lot of people were really upset about it. But I still like the Soft Glam palette. I still will continue to use it because you can see I do play with it a lot, and I do also like this palette as well. So this next one is the Subculture by Anastasia. This is a palette you can definitely find at TJ Maxx, and I feel the reason why is because this palette was very unpopular during the time that it launched. There was a lot of controversy with the colors. A lot of people were saying that there was a lot of fallout, and anytime you would use your brush, even if you were gentle, it would just start to kind of like fall apart. But I mean, I haven't had any problems with this palette. There is a couple of like kickback and a couple like shadows that kind of like get messy, but overall I do still like this palette, and I definitely going to keep it just because I love collecting the Anastasia palettes. Are really nice. And then next over here is the Anastasia Prism palette, which I found this at TJ Maxx a while ago when I first started to do my come shop with me videos at TJ Maxx and Marshall, and I was so freaking excited that I found this at TJ Maxx. Either way, I still love this palette. This is gorgeous. This is definitely a palette for this summer. So the last one that I have from Anastasia is the Norvina palette, which are more like purpley shadows. This is pretty much a collaboration that she did with her daughter, who is Norvina, and the colors are really, really nice. This is a palette that if you are into purpley shades and purpley colors, pink colors, you're definitely gonna like this palette. Here are the Lorac palettes. I'm just gonna go through them really quickly. Who remembers the Lorac Unzipped palette? This is an oldie but goodie. This is a very nice neutral rosy tone of colors. I still have it. I cannot part ways with this palette. I do not know why. The colors are so pretty. The pink shimmery shadows I am in love with. This one is the Unzipped Mountain Sunset palette by Lorac. This is more earthy tone of colors, very nice and shimmery. I don't know, I don't really reach for this palette as much. I'm not really sure why. I think it might be like the color combination of this palette. It doesn't work out for me. I don't know. What do you guys think? So I think I'm going to put this to the side just because I don't think I am going to continue to use this palette. And then here is the Lorac Pro. This palette I actually reach for it sometimes. Not as much as I would want to, but it's still a really nice palette to have. One of my favorite palettes that I've used for a long time, the Lorac Pro. And this one's another Lorac Pro, which is more nudie, more like lighter colors. The other one's more like smoky colors. But yeah, this is another palette that I really, really love as well. And I'm going to continue to use this as well because it's really my shadows when I really like to go out, like I said, to like a wedding where I just don't want my eyeshadow to be too much of a pop. You know what I mean? So I really like this palette for that. So one of the two palettes that I do have also here on display is my Huda Beauty palettes. This is the Huda Beauty Desert Dust palette, which is one of the palettes that she first came out with. And this palette, you guys, is one of my favorite palettes as well. I really love the warmer tones. I love the shimmery shadows. The only thing I do have to say is that these shadows over here, you kind of have to pack with your finger or use a concealer brush. Next palette is called the Huda Beauty Rose Gold Palette Remastered. This palette I'm not so in love with. I don't know. I feel like the colors, although these colors are really, really pretty and they do blend quite nicely, these colors over here, I don't know. It's just very hard to work with. Like the packing of these shimmery shadows, you definitely need your fingers or you definitely need like a wet concealer brush to pack on these colors. They just don't pack great with a brush. Like you can see there, you definitely need your fingers. The price of these are very, very high, like $65 I believe. But I do like the colors. Do I think is the best palette that is out there with the colors? No, I think you can find these colors in a different palette. Yeah, that is my take on the Huda Beauty palettes. I feel like they could be a little bit less expensive. So now we're gonna go into these drawers, and this is where I keep most of my little miniature packing palettes that are just have maybe contain little miniature shadows. Over here I have the Royal Affair palette by BH Cosmetics. I think this was about $6 at Marshall's. It contains 20 color eyeshadows and the shadows are really nice. You get a variety of warmer, neutral, just colors that you can wear as an everyday basis. So I love this palette a lot, and I just found that recently actually. That's why I have it in my drawer. And then this next one is a Too Faced Lifestyle Festival palette. It's called Peace, Love, and Unicorns. Unfortunately, it's not something that I pretty much pick up as much, so I don't know if I should or if I do recommend you guys buy this palette. I don't even think it's available anymore, but during that time I liked the whole display. I liked the whole unicorn vibe, so that is the reason why I bought it. I did do a couple of tutorials with this palette. All right, so here is the Too Faced Out One Candy palette, which is in collabs with Candy Johnson. If you guys do not know who she is, she's a YouTuber as well. She did a collaboration with Too Faced a while ago, and this is the palette that I ended up buying from her. And I love the whole vibe because it reminds me of like a candy box, which is so pretty. I don't know, I can't part ways with this palette either. It's so freaking adorbs. And yeah, so I bought actually the lipsticks that also came with this palette as well. But anyways, the colors are really pretty, very warm. And you also get a highlighting color called Whipped Cream. You get an ice cream and banana cream pie. This is like really cute because a lot of these eyeshadows are named after candy. So that is the reason why I really love this palette. And it's nice and sturdy too. Like if you drop this is not going to break as easy as the other one. So it's very, very sturdy. Next here is the Laura Geller, the Delectables eyeshadow palette. And I have not used this palette in a long time, you guys, so I'm actually going to part ways with this palette. To be quite honest, there's no reason for me to keep this anymore. I've used this maybe like once or twice. I really love the eyeshadows though. The eyeshadows are really pigmented with this palette. So this next one is a palette called The Balm. This one is called Volume 2. The Balm of Your Hands Volume 2. And this palette I have not even used, you guys. I bought this at I believe I bought this at Ross, and the only reason why I bought this is because I like that it has a bronzer and it has blushes as well, and a couple of these shadows which you can use also just as an all over base for your eyes, just as a one color, and also a highlight. So I love palettes like this where it's versatile, where you can use everything in one palette. And this next one over here is the Urban Decay Moondust palette. This one is also very shimmery. This reminds me a lot of the Fenty Beauty palette that I showed you guys earlier. Very shimmery. You definitely need a glitter glue to pack these shadows. This next one is a Smashbox Full Exposure palette, which is more of a smokier look. The thing I've loved with this palette is that all of this right here is all matte, and all of this over here in the top is all shimmer. So I love the way it is displayed, and I am definitely going to keep using the palette. And the next thing over here is the Smashbox Shape Matters Eyes, which I honestly am going to be parting ways with this palette. I don't typically use this anymore, and although the colors are very nice, they're very neutral, they're all matte, there's no shimmery shadows, which I'm not quite sure if I do recommend this palette, but I still like it. The only thing is that I don't need this palette anymore. I don't use it anymore, so I'm just gonna part ways with this. This one's the Tarte Make Believe in Yourself palette, which contains all shimmery shades and only one matte color, which I didn't really understand about this palette, why it only contained one matte color. But anyways, do love the shimmery shadows. They're very pretty. I've used this a couple times. Another of the Tarte palette is this one, which honestly I don't really understand this palette as much because all of these look exactly the same. This I believe I found at Burlington a long time ago. I don't really like to use shimmery shadows by itself on my eyelid. I like to combine it with another matte color. So I don't know if I'm going to part ways with this. I don't know if I still will keep this, but it's still a really nice palette. So this palette here is from the Beauty Crop. It's called the Sun Gazing palette. I actually received this palette from the brand itself to do a tutorial. I do like that this contains like the glitter shades, which is more like that waxy glitter, and I do like all the other shimmery shadows. Perfect for the summertime. The only thing I don't like about the palette is that it only contains 2 matte eyeshadows. This is another one from the Beauty Crop called Espresso Yourself. I also received this from them a while back, and the colors are very nice too. They're very like more like shimmery mattes. This definitely contains more mattes than the other palette. This is, I believe, one of the first palettes that they came out with, but overall I do like this one for prom, for the weddings, for like things like that, colors like that you want to reach for. Next one here is my Sigma Warm Neutrals Volume 2 eyeshadow palette. I just received this recently from Sigma, and I totally recommend this palette, you guys. I think this palette is actually more perfect for the fall season, but honestly, like, you can use this all year round. It's just perfect. It's a really nice palette to have, and yeah, I'm going to definitely keep using this palette because I'm definitely loving these colors. Really nice. Okay, so this one over here, Blushing Berries by Dose of Colors. This one, you guys, at one point I was so into berry colors for my eyelids that I actually ended up buying this one from Dose of Colors, and I don't know, I'm kind of like over the berry colors for my eyes, so I kind of like don't use this anymore. But I think this is more for the fall season. But these colors blend so beautiful. They're nice and so pretty. They're compact enough where you can take it to go. This definitely like the palette. It is a little bit expensive. It's not like a very affordable palette, but it's still really pretty. And this one's from Tarte. This one's called the Goddess Glam. I would typically just use this if I'm like throwing this in my purse and taking it with me really quickly, and that's it. The thing I liked about this palette is that it contains a blush, a highlight, and a couple of these eyeshadows, which is really nice for every day. So these other palettes are from Too Faced. These are 3 compact palettes. This is the Too Faced Peanut Butter Honey palette, which I have not used, and it's brand new, and I am going to definitely kick myself in the butt for not using it because it's so pretty and the colors are really nice and neutral. And I don't know, you guys, I should definitely use this palette. I am definitely going to use this. Now that I see it in my drawer, I'm like, oh my god, why haven't I used this palette, you guys? Why haven't I used it? So yeah, I'm definitely going to use this. Really nice. And I also love the Too Faced Peanut Butter and Jelly. This I have used. I've done a couple tutorials with this palette. I do like it. Do I need it? Probably not, but I do love the whole display. I love it. I don't know, it's just so hard for me to part ways when it comes to like palettes that look so cute. And speaking of cute, this one's actually called the Too Faced Totally Cute Palette. And this one's another one that I haven't used. For some reason, I don't know why this one, I think I just didn't really care so much for the shimmery shadows. They really weren't that pigmented. I don't know. I think I just bought this just hyped so much that I just needed to get it. And then these other ones are from Tarte as well. This is the Tartelette Tease palette, which is really cute. I mean, these are just neutral shadows. Yeah, this palette is so gross looking. I'm definitely probably going to toss this away. But this other one is Tarte's Pro To Go palette, which is also another cute little palette to have just to put on your little makeup bag. And just when you're running some errands, you just want to look a little bit more presentable. Really cute for that. And this one's another palette by Tarte called Don't Quit Your Daydream. And this is another nice palette. I really like when palettes have like a nice highlighting shade, and also some matte and some shimmers. Right, here's the Naked 2 Urban Decay Basics, which is a compact. This is a palette that I bought a while ago, just because I was obsessed with the Naked palette and I wanted to have some neutral colors. But honestly, like, this is probably a palette that I am definitely going to part ways just because I don't really need it anymore, you know? I don't really use it, so I'm gonna like part ways with this palette. And this one over here is a Smashbox. What is this? Smashbox. This is Smashbox Cover Shop Soft Light Eye Palette. Honestly, when I bought this palette, I thought I was gonna like, but I honestly don't like it anymore, just because the colors are very light on my skin tone and they just don't look like I have anything on my eyes. So I am going to part ways with this palette again. So I'm gonna definitely put this on the side because I definitely don't need that palette. And this other one is the one I found recently. This one is from, I believe I found this at Marshall's. It's also the Smashbox. It's called Cover Shot Pinks Palms Eye Palette. This is another beautiful palette for the summer, you guys. Really, really pretty. I am definitely going to keep this for sure. And then over here is the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. This one is called the Shade and Light Eye Contour Quad. So you get a few of these colors, which is really pretty. And I love these type of palettes, you guys, the ones that are compact, because you can just throw it in your purse. And even though you can create like a one eye look type of look, I still like them. We're now going to move on to this section over here. Over here I have some of my Kat Von D Shade and Light palettes. To be quite honest, this is the Eye Shade and Light Contour palette, which honestly I don't even reach for as much, and I'm definitely going to part ways with this. I still have it in this package because I've only used this maybe like twice. And I also have the Kat Von D Glimmer palette, which I don't really care so much for the glimmery shadows. It takes a little bit of time to just work with, and some of the shadows do blend a little bit nicer than others, so that is why I don't really care so much for that. And then the Shade and Light Cream Contour palette, I was gonna keep this, but I think I'm just going to part ways with it too, just because I just don't really care so much about the contour cream palette. It's just very ashy in tone and just not my favorite. The one I do like a lot is this Kat Von D Shade and Light Contour palette. This one's the matte one, not the cream one. This is perfect, you guys, if you are a makeup artist, because you have like light, medium, and dark contour colors. Back here is the Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man Tell No Tales palette. Honestly, I do not reach for this anymore, and I am definitely going to part ways with this palette. The colors are okay, they're not that great. The only color that I really loved from this palette was the color Sea Gaze, which is more of a green shadow palette. It's very bulky, so I can't really take this with me to travel. I have to kind of just keep it here at home, and I don't reach for it as much anymore, so I am definitely not going to use this anymore. And this drawer over here is pretty much where I keep most of my affordable palettes, palettes that are really under maybe $15. So this palette over here is the BH Cosmetics Shannon XO the Remix. This is an 18 color eyeshadow palette. I recently got this, I believe, at Marshall's, if I'm not mistaken, and I honestly haven't even gotten to use this palette. Oh, so many palettes, you guys, to use, and I honestly, like, I apologize if some of these palettes have not been used. I just haven't gotten to them yet, so I will get to them. But I do have to say about these colors is that they're so pretty. Let me know in the comments below if you have used this palette, if the eyeshadows work really nicely, if they blend nicely. Let me know in the comment section. But overall, I do like the palette. The reason why I like it is because I also like on the other side, you also get the lighter colors. Like, you can use this for the summer and for the winter time. Like, so versatile, so pretty. And back here I have this palette from C Color Cosmetics that I got this palette called Sundown, which is supposed to be a dupe for the Huda Beauty Desert Dust palette. I also have I believe this is called the Nightfall 18 color eyeshadow palette, which is supposed to be a dupe for the Rose Gold palette. You can see they're very, very similar. I did do a tutorial using both of these palettes. So if you cannot afford the Huda Beauty, think about these palettes because they're actually really, really good. The eyeshadows blend quite nicely and they're under $15. Check out the brand called C Color. I will leave it down below if you are interested in it. This other one's called the Birthday Blast by C Color Cosmetics. And this one is another palette. I think this is a dupe for one of Kylie's palettes, and I haven't used this one yet, but I will do maybe a tutorial later on in the future using this palette. And then here is the Peach Royal palette as well from the same company. This is more like a royal blue. The colors are really nice, very shimmery. Here is another one called Bronze by C Color eyeshadow palette. This reminds me of the Naked Heat palette, which is very similar. It has just a film there right there in the top, which is, I'm not going to take it off right now, but that is what it looks like. This one's another one called Whimsical by C Color Cosmetics. Reminds me of the Norvina palette. Not sure how that is exactly, but that's called Whimsical. Here is Juicy by C Color Cosmetics. Really warm in shade. Another one. Here is the Frost color. Really another one, really pretty. I think I've used this in a tutorial recently, and the colors are really nice. They pack on nicely and they blend really well as well. So definitely check out that company. I think it's really good. The other one's called C Color Palette Contour Palette. This is actually very nice too, but the only thing is that I really don't like that it has a lot of kickback. But I definitely think this is a dupe for the Kat Von D Contour Contour Palette. And then back here is the Cherry 12 color eyeshadow palette. Same thing with this, from the same company. And these are the colors. They're okay. The shimmery shadows are okay. They're not like extremely pigmented, but they do pack on okay. They're not like the best shimmery shadows that I've tried. I have the BH Cosmetics B by Bubs Beauty 12 color eyeshadow palette. I think I've used this a couple times. I don't know if I really enjoy this palette as much, but I still think it's a really okay palette. I think I am going to part ways with this palette though, because I haven't used this in a while. I have another BH Cosmetics It's a Ray Ray palette, which I totally recommend. I really love this palette, you guys. You have those pretty eyeshadows for the fall, and you have bronzy highlighting colors as well. I love these eyeshadows when they are like this because it's just so easy to use. And yeah, this is another palette that I'm definitely going to keep. And then over here is a L'Oreal palette, which I'm going to part ways with because I don't use that. And this one is another palette that I found. I think I bought this at Five Below. And this is for a palette from Beauty Treats. I definitely recommend this palette. It's called Rose Gold Nudes. And this palette is really nice. If you're looking for that like warm colors, neutral colors, this is definitely going to be your it palette, especially because it's very affordable. I think I only paid like $5 for this palette, but the eyeshadows are gorgeous, really pretty. And you get a black eyeshadow too there that you can use as a smoky. That's a nice palette. Let's see, this is just my NYX Ultimate Shadow Palette, which I've hit pan on. And this is like, you get multiple like rainbow colors. I don't know if they still sell that. But yeah, this is another one. Berry Velvet. I got this from Primark. This is okay. I believe I got this at Walgreens from Wet n Wild. And this is a really nice palette for the summer, you guys. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Love that palette so much. Totally recommend that one. And then here is the C Color Soft Natural and Matte Natural, which are dupes for, I wouldn't say like exactly dupes, so I guess these are supposed to be dupes for the Too Faced matte palette. So that is pretty much my entire palette collection. This was actually really long, and I wish that I would have planned this a lot better. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching. Next video is going to be a come shopping with me video, so make sure you stay tuned, and I'll see you guys on my next one. Thumbs up if you do want me to show you guys my entire lipstick collection. Let me know, and I'll see you guys later. Bye guys.